Ari, we mentioned Coach Prime and we mentioned his future. And I think you and I, we've come around on Coach Prime as far as roster building, as far as what he wants to do at Colorado. Very interesting development on the recruiting side. So he's got a visitor coming this week that is one that I think when we were talking earlier, we were saying, oh, he's just not recruiting the high school guys enough. You can't do this all out of the portal. If you want good big guys, you gotta get them out of high school. And he did sign Jordan Seaton last year, but it seems like he's doing that again. He's working on that again. So Michael Carroll, who's the number one interior offensive line prospect in the country, he's 14 overall in the country in the On3 industry rankings. I believe we at On3 have him number 9 overall in the country. So he's at IMG Academy right now. He's from Pennsylvania originally. He's an Alabama commit. He's headed to Colorado for the Utah game. Can we show the video that he posted recently of himself blocking?
Oh my gosh. Michael.
I think that's his mom.
Like, leave him alone.
Reacting to him just throwing a fairly large defensive tackle like a rag doll, and his helmet, the guy's helmet flying off. Let's show that again. One more time.
Oh my gosh. Michael.
So this is the guy who's going to go to Alabama, or at least we think, but he's going to Colorado for a visit. Ari, if Deion's getting dudes like this, and if he's flipping Julian Lewis, oh my God, Michael.
There are some places in college football that you could probably, and maybe this list is lower now in this new era, that you could say their ceiling is not national title, right?
Right.
If Deion really got it cooking and was there for a long time and recruited 10 athletes a year, I know he went on a long rant.
Like this, yeah.
Yes. He went on a long explanation in his news conference, I believe on Wednesday, about portal versus high school football recruiting and wanting people to play right away, and how if you sign 25 guys, you're probably going to lose half, and like what the math is on actually doing well in high school recruiting. But if he could sign 10 top 150 to top 200 players a year, guys like that, guys like Juju Lewis, I think it is like the ceiling for Colorado's program is probably winning a national title in this era, right? Like, can you say that he could, like, if things went well, he stayed bought in, he stayed there for a long time, like by year 7 or year 6 or even year 5, if like things really came together in an advantageous way, that Colorado could have that?
I think you do that for 2 years, 3 years out of high school, because you guys, some guys will still have to develop. But if you did that for 3 years, you would have easily the best roster in the Big 12. Wouldn't even be close. And you could compete, like, especially because some of those players would develop into first-round draft prospect type players that would then be attractive to portal players to come play with. I think by year 3 of that, you're a national title contender.
Because like you're already probably going to make the playoff now. Add in 10 of those for 3 years.
Oh, hey, one more Michael Carroll video. He posted this. This is Michael Carroll running routes at his high school just for fun.
That ain't no concussion, Mike.
Oh, he's gone.
That's a 315-pound guard.
Yeah, the thing that people don't appreciate enough is when you start getting SEC linemen at places like Bama and Georgia and like that are ranked like this, that they are even bigger freaks physically than the receivers and the quarterbacks and skill position.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Yeah, they are like the speed at which these 300-pound guys can move and the agility that they have is obscene. Like it's not normal. It's what makes those great rosters, like the Georgia rosters, the Ohio State rosters, the Bama rosters, even better.
Absolutely. And it's like, who was the lineman from Bama that did that box jump that was like 7 feet tall? Like that
He
went
also
viral.
played at IMG, and I'm blanking on the name.
He's a very famous person. His name is escaping.
He was a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
Why am I struggling with this name? This is so bad, and I'm so sorry.
Evan Neal.
Evan Neal, yes, and he did the box jump. He did this. There was a split that he did, and I actually saw Evan Neal play in high school when he was at spring practice at IMG, because I was down there to do a story on Daniel Fa'alele. You remember Daniel Fa'alele who played at Minnesota? Mm-hmm. So Daniel came from Australia. He had 50 offers before he'd ever even played an actual football game. He was 6'9", 400 pounds. He currently starts at guard for the Ravens. But Evan Neal was there, and Daniel at that time, is still learning the sport. But then you go watch Evan Neal play, and then he's going into his senior year, and you're like, oh my God, this person's in high school? He looked like an NFL offensive lineman already.
Yeah. And like what they're able to do, size, speed, strength, I think trumps the acrobatic one-handed touchdown catches that you see on SportsCenter.
Yeah. Now, it'd be like, imagine if Jeremiah Smith was 300 pounds, basically. Puff Dutch asks us, who wins Utah, Colorado? Well, Utah is an 11.5-point dog, and the quarterback who gave them a spark last week against BYU is out for the year again with injury. So Isaac Wilson will be starting for Utah. Colorado is playing better than anybody in the Big 12. This is Ari, it's an unusual spread for a Big 12 game this year. Like Colorado minus 11.5. You haven't seen a lot of double-digit spreads in Big 12 conference games.
Yeah. And now the one hope that Utah had in this game isn't playing. So, and also, too, it's a testament to where Colorado has come. If this game was being played 2 months ago, the spread would not be 11.5. It's about where they've been and where they are, and there is a dramatic difference between the Colorado that we saw 2 months ago and the Colorado that exists today. So, I mean, and like also, too, this spread, I believe, opened below 10. So I think it was like 8.5 or 9 where it opened. And now it's moved to 11.5. And that's a pretty significant move because it goes from a touchdown and a field goal scenario to a 2-touchdown spread. It's the key numbers that are really important as much as even the total number of points that it moves. So, yeah, I think that's warranted. And I like Colorado in the game to cover.
Yeah, I do too. They've played better, more consistently than anybody in the Big 12 the last few weeks. Now, BYU still undefeated, but you and I think both think Kansas is going to beat BYU this weekend because BYU has just been living dangerously the entire time.
I think Kansas is going to clip somebody. And I don't know.
Well, they did. They got Iowa State last week.
No, I know. I think that, but do they have Colorado too, right? Like they have between Colorado and this weekend against BYU. I think they go 1-1 in those. So hopefully they get it for Colorado's sake this weekend, so that Colorado can continue on into the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, it feels like Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal and Jeff Grimes, their first year offensive coordinator at Kansas, they've kind of figured things out and they've moved into that mode where they're going to hang. There's a good chance they can hang 40 on you any given week now. And so that, I think, against BYU, that's a problem. Against Colorado can probably hang in a shootout like that. They might not win it, but they can definitely. I feel like Colorado's better prepared to hang in that sort of shootout.
Yep. I'm with you.
All right. So let us see what happens there.
College football sickos, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. Also want to make sure y'all know the Hard Count brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Playing with Prize Picks using code HARDCOUNT, $5 in lineups gets you $50 in promo funds. So appreciate y'all using that code and appreciate you being subscribed.